Let's move to unfinished business. A, discuss and or approve the summer 2012 trip to Belize.
I'll start that and then introduce Teresa, who's looking at coordinating this. It's similar to what you were asked to approve last year with the trip to Europe, where it's an optional trip for kids to participate if they choose to. And this one happens to be going a different direction, and so the reason that it becomes a board action, of course, is that it does involve our students. It doesn't involve our money per se. We'll do fundraising and different things. But Teresa, you want to?
Absolutely. I am Teresa, and I don't know if most of you know who I am or my position here, but I'm the at-risk teacher here at the high school, and it's my fifth year here. Last year, I had an opportunity to travel to Paris, first of all, at the end of May to get training to become a group leader for EF, and then was able to go on the trip with our students as well as 30 other students from across the country to Europe, also with Mrs. Carlson. And it was a great experience for me, for the kids, and as I'm looking at that particular trip, it was kind of in place as we Mrs. Carlson and I started talking about that, and I just said, I'd love to go and take kids, let's do our kids. So she said, yeah, let's do this. So at the time, I had planned on taking my own daughter with me and to do this, and I didn't have that opportunity to do that with her, so I gave her a choice. I said, I'd like to do another trip. Where would you like to go? And my daughter is a tremendous nature buff. She loves nature, and she says, Mom, I'd like to go to Belize. So I said, well, let's see what we can do with that. So I asked Dr. Feeney if that'd be something that we could introduce to our school for students to go to a trip to Belize, for those that have that passion, that love of nature and doing some different types of things. And on this tour, I think you all have an itinerary. Did you get that?
Yeah.
I can kind of hit some of the spotlights for those of you who do not have an itinerary here in front of you. This starts out in Belize City. They go on a river lagoon, a boat ride. Then they go to the, I'm going to say a lot of these words incorrectly because I'm not sure, Lamani Ruins. Then they go to the Picari Hills National Park, which is basically they talk about it's a rainforest crisscrossed with streams, trails used thousands of years ago and today, as well as caves, once inhabited by the Maya. And this particular country is of Mayan civilization. And from there, they will get to go to San Ignacio, where they'll travel a river to the Zanacatunic ruins and look at the Mayan temples that are there and the pyramids. They'll go to a museum at Chaw Creek Natural History Center. There they'll be looking at the different cultures that have come through Belize's history, their artifacts, the architecture, and those types of things. Then they will cruise the old Belize River. They will see things like 500 different variations of birds and monkeys and jaguars and all of these things. They will then go on to Ambergris Key, which is a barrier reef off of Belize. And while there, they'll go on to the Whole Chain Marine Reserve, which they'll get to snorkel and see different things like schools of nurse shark, barracudas, snappers, and groupers, and they'll actually be able to involve themselves within that group. So, and then they'll also get a snorkel at Shark Ray Bay, which is another place for them to see, stingrays and those types of things. So this is just a different type of opportunity for our kids to experience a nature type of trip. And I think the biggest thing that I've heard from kids as I talk to kids is that this is something that will build confidence with them. And as I think about this trip and I think about all the things it has to offer, that's the one thing that really comes out at me, because I have one young lady who said to me, she goes, well, I know that if I don't take this trip, she says, life's just going to happen. And so she says, I want to take this opportunity to do something that's exciting and fun, and also see some things I probably never will have an opportunity to see. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, you know, if you're going to snorkel and you've never been to the ocean, if you've never been on a boat, zip lining the canopy, if you've never done that type of thing, that can be a great confidence builder. So of the kids that I've talked to in doing that, I think that if they all will do it, I will do it as well. So I just think it's a great opportunity for our kids to experience some of those things. And the 3 kids that have shown tremendous interest already are 3 kids that I've already had in my at-risk classroom, and kids that I could see benefit greatly from that. And also, selfishly, it'll be a great experience for me to share with my daughter. She's a senior, she'll be graduating this year, and so to share that with her would be awesome. So I guess tonight I'm asking you for permission to take some of our kids on that adventure. And
how many students do you have interested right now? Just 3?
Right now I have 3, and then including my daughter would be 4. And I'm also, just to let you know, my daughter attends Carroll High, because we live in Carroll, and we'll be talking to that district as well. And I've talked to a smaller district that I came from, talked to their superintendent, who has allowed me to also talk to their kids about going, just because they don't have a representative. And so he said that'd be a great opportunity, even if one student were able to go. So.
And a couple of questions.
Sure.
Maybe like with insurance, and we went through, it's exactly the same company that we used last year. Everything is in place. Again, the district really is providing a forum for this to take place.
Right.
It's not really our trip.
It allows me to use your building for fundraising, for communication, for doing concessions, those types of things, you know, as far as, you know, any money, or, you know, no one's paying me, or, you know, there's no money coming out from the school for this trip.
We're just acting as an enabler.
Yes.
Is this about the same cost as the Europe trip this
Yeah,
time?
it's around $2,400. And a lot of the kids have, you know, that I've talked to, the 3 kids that I've talked to, have already saved money. They've already are working, you know, concessions, and we have one student whose mom is willing to, you know, her parents are paying half. So every kid's different on what they can do, but I know all 3 of the kids that are interested at this point in time all have jobs and all have goals now to set for next summer, something that they truly want to do. And that's important for kids to at least have, you know, set some goals and, you know, I want to do this. I decided not to buy the car because I want to do this. You know, and those are things that kids have to make decisions on.
That'll give them confidence too, save the money for the trip, and you know.
Yep, and have the time of their life. And, you know, and that's what it's all about, to make a decision on how their finances are being spent.
So this says July 2011. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I'm
next
sorry,
year.
I changed, mine say 2012. Sorry about that, I caught that just tonight. So yeah, it'll be, I did initially have it for June. However, talking with the kids, they wanted to have at least another month of June to do some fundraising and those types of things, so we did move it to July. So I just got that approved today as far as a date change on that for July.
I have to say Belize is one of the few places I've actually been to. And as it's described, it's absolutely, if you're into nature, it's a great
Did you do the zip lining?
No, but I watched people much younger and smarter than me do it.
And as you know, even with the European trip, there's always a backup just in case they can't fill the bus, because that's how they determine their prices. The 2 backups for Belize would be Galapagos Islands or Costa Rica. So if that, yeah, so it's all on the same theme, all about the same activities, about the same price, but they always tell you to have a backup. I'm thinking, what 2 great backups could we possibly have to that? So Belize is our first choice, but if that, for some reason they can't get a tour of 40 to 50 people to fill a bus and keep those costs down, they'll bump us to the Galapagos Islands.
Anybody have any questions? If not, what we need is a motion to allow this to happen.
I certainly think it's a wonderful opportunity for our kids, so I'll make a motion that we allow Teresa to go ahead with the trip.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow Teresa to proceed with planning this trip. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Good luck. Have fun.